Hello everybody and welcome back to Welcome Grove Homestead. It's that time of year that we are looking at getting our meat birds for the year, and actually we did more than look, we ordered. So we got our meat birds, and we did not go with Cornish Cross this year. We decided to try Freedom Rangers. But I do have some concerns. We are getting really cold temperatures in the next couple of days. So I picked up our little chicks here just a couple of hours ago, but we're supposed to have temperatures dropping into the teens. So definitely a little bit concerned. Not that the brooder's not prepared, because we have a brooder plate in here, but we had a power outage the other night, and that would not be good if we had 19-degree weather and no power. Okay, so I am here in our brooder room with our little chicks, and many of them are utilizing our brooder plate, which I highly recommend because it's very similar to a hen, where it is a heat source is located low to the ground, so they actually go and hide under it like they would under a brooding hen, and it keeps them nice and warm, and it's also a bit safer electrically than doing a heat lamp, which the bulb could break and you end up with fire potentials. But brooder plates are extremely safe. Hello, little cheepy cheeps. These are Freedom Rangers. Oh, Gideon. Are you curious about the little cheepy cheeps? And we have these cardboard bumpers that I made for the brooder. Basically, it eliminates any 90-degree angles in the brooder, because that apparently is a thing, because we lost several chickens last year to a surprise frost, and they actually will dogpile in corners, and you end up with smashed chicks. So having those corners smoothed will keep them from doing that. Now the design of these is extremely simple. I cut these cardboard flaps and took some, these are tobacco sticks that are from our property. They just came with the property. So what I did was basically I measured how big my cardboard pieces were and just made a simple frame and just stapled the cardboard. So super simple. If they hold up, I mean, they'll last several batches of chicks, because there shouldn't really be anything wearing on them too bad, but we'll see. So there's 25 little chicks in here. Let's see. You guys hanging out in the brooder plate? If we lift it, oh, sleepy baby. So with the cold temperatures coming up, we actually have borrowed a generator from a friend of ours, so that should the power go out, we can kick that on and keep our brooder plate running for sure, to make sure that those babies stay nice and warm. So we've got our new little meat chickens in our brooder, and we also have more babies anticipated to hit the ground soon in the goat pen. So while anticipating new babies is fun, not everything is running perfectly smoothly over here in the goat pen. So fairly recently, within the past couple of weeks, I collected enough stuff to be able to run my own fecal exams at home, which I will plan on doing a tutorial video at some point on how to run a fecal. I'm just trying to get some practice in before I do that. And So I discovered that a handful of goats had a worm load and needed to be wormed, which, as many of you know, we do herbal deworming and hope that we don't have to do chemical dewormers, but I am not above using them when they are necessary. So the interesting finding that I had was that the goats that have been on herbal dewormers long term, which include Betsy and Jane, who were my goats in California, and their doelings, Molly and Arwen, in this pen. The boys had other results as well. But over here, the does that I have had on herbal dewormers for most of their lives did not need to be chemically dewormed. All of the full-size goats that had not been on herbal dewormers prior to me getting them all needed to be dewormed. And so we did, and our really big, scary one was that lady right there, Mayhem. She ended up having so many worm eggs that I didn't even finish reading the whole slide because it was just very obvious that she had an infestation and needed to be wormed. And she also ended up developing what's called bottle jaw, which is where the neck and jaw will all kind of swell up on a goat, and that is due to anemia. So we dewormed Mayhem and the other girls, and I also treated her for anemia, which included giving her something that's called red cell, which is technically marketed for horses, but you can give it to goats to combat anemia. So she got anemia treatments for 10 days, and they have a worm that's called barber pole. Barber pole worm is a very, very serious parasite because frequently you don't know that your goats have it, or sheep, whatever animals it's affecting. You don't know that they have it until it's so bad that they're having problems like anemia. And so that's why it's important to check it's called FAMACHA, which is their mucous membranes in their eye, and check the color. Now, most of the does up here, they kind of run just a hair pale normally anyway, but I did notice that Mayhem was she was pretty pale. She wasn't white. When they're white, you're looking at death's door. And so I was treating her for her anemia, and her FAMACHA was improving. She was getting pinker. And so the treatment protocol is that they get the red cell once a day, every day for 10 days, and then you cut it back to once a week. Well, 3 days after I finished her 10-day course, she showed up with bottle jaw again, which was last night. And I was like, what? Why do you have bottle jaw again? So I hit her harder with anemia treatment, which is actually using an injectable iron supplement, and gave her some other supportive care because she's due to kid any day now. So hit her with some anemia treatment, as well as I took another fecal sample and ran a follow-up fecal on her, and it turns out that she still has a pretty significant load. So I'm deworming her again with the chemicals actually with different chemicals. So this is a whole deworming lesson, guys. Okay, this may or may not work out for the better. Anyway, so when you have barber pole worms, the standard protocol is that you deworm them with 2 different classes of dewormers. So there are 3 classes of anthelminthic or dewormer. The standard protocol when you are treating barber pole, or really any strongyle worm, which includes a couple of other species, is, hi, thank you, Nestle. You're gonna choose 1 dewormer from 2 classes. So it's hitting them back to back with 2 different chemical dewormers, and you have to hit them pretty hard. So they get treated once, and then again in 12 hours, and then again in 10 days. And I've already done that once with all the herd. So I've already done that once with the herd with the goats that needed to be dewormed. And what I would like to do is run follow-up fecals on them this weekend and make sure that Mayhem is the only one that I need to be worried about. I feel certain that we probably reduced the numbers of worms, but she's so heavily infested that we have to hit her again. This is not an uncommon problem, especially in these wetter climates. I have never once encountered barber pole when I lived in California, but I also lived in a place that never ever rained. So the ground was never wet, and a lot of parasites enjoy, or they thrive in wetter climates where it stays warm and damp. So the goats that we had in California, we never had any issues with worms. Now, that doesn't mean that California is exempt from parasites. It just means that the area that I was in, I was in the city, there were no pre-existing livestock parasites in the ground at my property. So we were very blessed and very fortunate to have not had to deal with any parasites. The only thing that we had was that, like, the goats came home from their breeder with some lice. They got a bath and a treatment, and then they were fine. So parasites are very much a real thing. Switching a previously chemically wormed goat onto an herbal dewormer does not automatically mean that they're going to not get parasites. Hi. So I still very strongly believe in doing our herbal deworming program. I just think that it's going to take longer for their systems to catch up, basically. And we'll just kind of see if that theory proves right or not. It may just be that these larger sized goats are just going to be more chemically dependent because they have been in the past. And that's something that I would really like to test in future years as I'm sure we'll be expanding our herd. We'll get new members, we'll probably get younger members, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. But anyway, hey, definitely be in prayer for Miss Mayhem. She's due any day now. Her ligaments are just starting to get squishy, so she's getting really close, and she's anemic and has barber pole. So we are treating it. We are giving her the best possible care that we can. We're just gonna have to just wait and see. My plan is that after this round of worming, we'll probably do another follow-up fecal, but I have a feeling that she may need a third round of worming just because she's so heavily infested. And right now, she's weakened by being pregnant, so that may also be affecting why she has such a heavy worm load even after being dewormed. Yeah, we're talking about you, lady. Here, let's check on your ligaments again. Let's see. And see, they're not super squishy yet. They're still definitely there, but they are softening. And they were softer this morning. But look at this udder. Oh, excuse your tail. But look at that. It is massive. Compared to, granted, she was later in her lactation when we got her last summer. And she was pretty much, she had just weaned her singleton kid. So it was pretty well used up. Her udder was on its way out for the lactation because she had not been milked since she had kidded. So it was lopsided because she had a singleton that had a favorite side. So it was a little small, it was a little lopsided, but I knew that it would level out when she had her next babies, and it has. So it's coming in nice and even, it's looking good, and she's gonna be milked through her whole lactation. So we're gonna see how she does, but we gotta get her off the ground first. She has surprisingly acted completely normal during all of this struggle with the worms. So she's not like acting dumpy or acting weak or anything like that. She gave zero indication that there was anything wrong until I saw the bottle jaw on her. But treating the anemia masks the symptoms just a little bit because she's feeling better and it's returning the pinkness to her mucous membranes. But if she still has a heavy worm load, those worms are still consuming her blood every day. So trying to give her some really good supportive care, help her make that blood at a faster rate than they're consuming it, and trying to kill those stinking worms. So unfortunately we did come out to a bit of a disappointment this morning when it comes to the chicks. I did voice that I was concerned last night about the cold, and we did end up losing 10 chicks total. There was one chick that just flat didn't survive transport. It was under the brooder plate when we checked on them last night, so it was warm. It just didn't make it. So when we went to check on them last night, the brooder light had been left on, and by brooder light I mean like the light in the room had been left on, which it's an LED light, and so the room was fairly bright, but I mean they're supposed to have a day-night cycle. So we turned off the light after checking on them, and I think that was our mistake because they were not adjusted to the darkness. They couldn't find the brooder plate in the dark, and I think that's what happened to the 9 that we found that had passed away this morning. So huge disappointment, especially in myself. I mean, I should have thought that they wouldn't be able to find the brooder plate, but they had already been under it, so I just thought, well, they know where it's at. Chickens don't see in the dark. So that's just, we're learning these lessons the hard way. But we know better, and we actually are going to move them into a smaller brooder in the basement for the next couple of nights because we are hitting some really low temperatures and we really don't want to take any more risks with the birds that we have left. So we're going to move them into the basement and get them spending the night there where they're going to be nice and warm. But now I've got to go treat Miss Mayhem with her anemia treatment today because she's due for her second shot of the injectable iron, and we're going to give her a B-complex shot as well as some other things to just give her some supportive care. So I got to go get that rounded up and we'll do that. So here is my treatment regimen here for Miss Mayhem with her anemia. So we tried using oral iron supplement the first time around, and that helped, but as soon as I stopped giving it to wait for a 1-week period, the bottle jaw came back. So what we are doing now is we're actually hitting her harder with some stronger stuff, and that is the injectable iron, and it looks black as sin. But she's doing pretty good on it. She's only had 1 injection so far. This is very easy to overdose. You only want to give it a couple of times in 1 week and then cut them down to once a week. So this will be her second injection. She'll get 1 more, and then she'll cut down to 1 a week. Or we may switch her to the oral after she's had her kids. I don't know yet. We're going to have to just assess her and see where she's at. So another injection that she gets is a B-complex. So this is going to help support her health-wise. It's going to strengthen her immune system. It's going to just overall boost her body so that she can start making more red blood cells on her own. We're also going to give her a couple of other things. We've got some Jump Start here. This is an oral microbial gel, so this is going to be stuff that's just good for her gut, trying to keep her healthy even though she's got all these worms that are sucking the nutrients out of her, which we are also going to be putting some probiotic paste in there as well. And we're going to be giving her some grain that is going to be a bit more of a kickstart than my usual mixed grain. So my mixed grain is more for the lactating does, which is fine, but because we're trying to really give her more nutrition than she needs because she's got the worms that have been absorbing more of her nutrition than she can, she's getting a straight scoop of alfalfa pellets because those are high in calcium and vitamin C. They're going to help support her anemia treatment. She's also going to get, I have calf manna, which is a really high quality performance pellet, and that is mixed in with a little bit of a goat grower ration. So we're going to try and boost her protein, help her stay healthy because she's also feeding those kids. So she's got a lot of strain on her body right now. So we're just trying to support her and get her through the end of her pregnancy so that she can have her babies, and then we can really focus on getting her body recovered. But it's really hard to come back when they have such a massive drain between the parasites, being the worms, and the parasites being the kids that are also draining her, and so trying to do the best we can to support her. Not around. You're gonna go through it. Yeah, that bottle jaw is starting to come back. I can already feel it. So we're definitely making the right call, giving her the injection. I'm gonna check her for matcha. And she's pretty pale, so we'll go ahead and give her the iron. And both of these injections are going to be sub-Q, so under the skin. Now her vitamin B complex I will put in her other shoulder. See, she's not even bothered at all by the pokes. She barely even flinches. So we'll give her the oral pastes when she finishes with her grain. Guys, look at her udder. It is really starting to fill in. It's not tight yet, but she is getting close. Her ligaments, they're a little firmer now, but they were squishier earlier. So she's up and down. It's pretty normal that they'll soften and firm throughout the day, but we're getting close. Okay, Mayhem. She's pretty much just licking the crumbs out now, so we're gonna give her her pastes, which she's not gonna be a super huge fan of. They don't taste horrible. She just doesn't love stuff being put in her mouth. Huh, Mama? I know. See? That's good stuff, huh? That is her anemia treatment for the day. And just for added security, I like to check and make sure that the babies are still moving. I'm operating under the assumption that she's got twins. We're being hopeful. Ooh, there's a big kick right up there. Okay, so there's movement on the left. There's movement. Okay. We got movement on both sides, so we're good to go. Let's get your cookies, Mama. Come on. Well, I wish I had some better news between worms and losing chicks. It's been a little bit of a rough weekend, but you know, we're keeping on and we're doing our best to modify what needs to be modified, to treat what needs to be treated, and we're just gonna keep on plugging along. So I will definitely keep everyone apprised of Mayhem's situation as we move forward. We have some treatment plans figured out based on some different scenarios and how things play out. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with her and just go from there. As always, this is your country nerd with a goat herd, saying that you can grow where you're planted. This is a whole deworming lesson, guys. Excuse you. So with Barber I'm gonna have to move. Days, and I've already done that once with all the herds, so, or all the, Nestle. That is not for scratching your lips on, honey. You licked my camera. You licked the lens. Okay. Thank you. Granted, there are places in California that do. Hi. You are in the way. Proves right or not. And it may just be that these particular goats are going to be... Thank you. We're just going to have to just wait and see. My plan... Ooh, excuse me.